All right, cool. And we're live.
Nice.
You want me to start it?
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on, guys? It's been crazy. I don't know. Last 24 hours, 48 hours. We've had some news right before the draft's about to start. So I think the biggest breaking news just happened with Gronk just being traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right now.
That was how crazy was that? Like
I mean,
that came out of left field.
it did, right? But so I wrote an article, I guess like late last week, about the possibility of this happening. There were some rumblings happening between Gronk's camp and maybe the Buccaneers had some interest, but they weren't sure how it was going to work out because obviously they still have OJ Howard, they still have Cameron Brate. I mean, like, obviously there's Gronk,
Yeah.
and then everyone
Everybody
else.
else, yeah.
Right. So before, you can do anything, you got to kind of have an idea of like what's going to happen with OJ Howard and Cameron Brate. Is Gronk going to be there not only to play but to mentor the two of them? That's a lot of star power at tight end, and you could possibly trade him for some draft capital, maybe a different type of player on the team. It all depends on what Bruce Arians and company are trying to do in Tampa Bay, but I think this was, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think this might solidify them to be that team. I think they are
I
the
will.
juggernaut of the NFL.
I mean, I even considered them like the best team before this because you still had, you know, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin as your top two wide receivers, and then OJ Howard and Cameron Brate as two stud tight ends that are gonna thrive with Tom Brady. We all know how he loves his tight ends. Jameis Winston really didn't do them any favors. I know, OJ Howard has kind of some drop issues, but I know Tom Brady could work with him and fix those issues. Now you add Gronk into the mix, their chemistry is like no other. Gronk had what 70 something touchdowns with the Patriots. He's a top three tight end all time. It's just unreal the amount of star power they have on that offense, and they have a number a 14th overall pick in 2 days. They can go get an offensive tackle to shore up that offensive line. They can go get a running back because they have Rashad Jones right now. They could use somebody else. They could go get a defensive weapon, but they don't even need much. They need pretty much corners or safeties, so that they have pretty much one of the best teams ever. Honestly, on paper at least. Yeah, we'll
On
see how
paper.
it plays out on the field. But right now, on paper, I'd say this is the best team ever put together.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, was it back in 2011 or 2012 when we thought the same thing about the Eagles after they
Yep.
signed Namdi Asamoah, and they had Chip Kelly running the show, and obviously that turned out to be a hell show for everyone. But honestly, like, when you take a look at the way this team is put together, you have the quarterback that Bruce Arians wanted. Now that quarterback has his probably all-time favorite weapon for the middle of the field, and you also have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and just insane talent all around you. Obviously, they're in a very tough division as well. So, I mean, it's not a cakewalk. They still are going to have to play at their best. Gronk is still going to have to stay healthy. Brady's going to have to continue to play at the level that we know he's capable of. And that defense is still going to have to show out. They showed out last year. They have to do it again if they want to get to where they want to go. Because if they don't, the offense can only bring them so far, as we've seen. So uh, this is crazy news, and I know Patriots fans around are not happy, to say the least.
Well,
Um,
I mean, I
I will say most Patriots fans are just not happy in general. You lost
yeah, for
Brady.
the most part, yeah.
You lost Brady after 20 years. You lost Gronk. I mean, he's been retired, but now he's coming back to play with Brady in a non-Belichick team. It kind of feels like a shot at the fandom a little bit. The we're left with, and this isn't a bad thing. We're left with Julian Edelman from, like, what we know of the football team. So it's just kind of tough. I feel like Patriots fans feel like their team is kind of like a shell of what it was. Maybe a little hollow inside, but this is the beginning of a new generation for the Patriots. I think for them, I think that there's no better time than to start rebuilding, retooling. They brought a lot of their defensive veterans back. They're training young guys. They're working with young guys. Um, there's a lot that Bill Belichick has to do in the next few years to get this team right.
Yeah, and just to bring this back to Gronk, kind of moving on from Gronk, at least getting rid of his rights, moving on from those rights, uh, does bring us into the next chapter. We let go of all those people that, I mean, besides, I guess Edelman is the only really one left over on the offensive side of the ball that has true connections to Tom Brady. There's still a chance he might be moved at some point. He said he wants to finish his career in New England, but you don't know what Bill Belichick is thinking ever. So he'll take a good deal when he sees it. So there's some movement there, but moving on from Gronk, this is their one thing I want to touch upon is they are moving on from his rights, and he just took his physical, but he still has to agree to play football again. Just because they're trading him doesn't mean he has to play. And so what if he decides that, I still don't want to come back to football. I want to stay retired. Then they've lost out on a fourth round draft pick, and
Yeah,
they don't have Gronk.
it's just a hefty price to pay with no guarantees. I feel like they had to have had a conversation, whether it was Brady and Gronk or Arians and Gronk, and them basically saying like, listen, we will do this. We'll make this trade happen. We'll do whatever it takes, but we need a guarantee that you want to come back and you're willing to play football for the whole season as long as you're healthy.
Yeah, and I mean,
Um,
and now this means Gronk is now removing himself from everything that he's built over the last year with Fox, with the WWE, with all of the sponsorships he's had. He has to now go and focus on football. So is that something he really wants to do? Give up everything that he's put in a lot of work. He has stayed very active in the community over the last year and put himself out there. So I don't know if that's something that is truly on his mind. He may have just agreed to be like, yeah, I'm willing for you. I'm letting you trade my rights. I have no issues with that. A few years ago, when the Bill wanted to trade him to the Lions, he said absolutely not. I'd rather retire than play for a different team. But now it seems that now that he's retired, he doesn't have an issue with the Patriots trading his rights. Maybe that's it
yeah,
in part due to the fact that he doesn't want to play another season and he's just happy to give the Patriots a free draft pick, or maybe he looks at it as if it's an easy opportunity of getting another ring and getting another $10 million.
yeah. I think that's I don't know if $10 million is what it'll take for a
Well,
year of playing.
that's what his contract has still on it.
Right, they can restructure.
I don't
I
think
mean,
they will.
it's
They still have plenty of money.
well, I mean, what happens from here is he still needs to pass his physical. Obviously, one source told Adam Schefter that they believe that he passed with flying colors, which I would assume is the case. He's been relatively quiet physically, for the last year.
I mean, he
Um,
lost that 20-25 pounds. He's a lean guy. He's back to his rookie weight. So,
right, which is when he had his most success, 2010,
but
2011,
it's not,
that
yeah,
time
and
range.
it's not even like the Buccaneers need a run blocker, right? Cameron Brate is a very big guy. OJ Howard, again, big guy. So they can help in the
Those
run
three
game.
tight end sets are going to be absurd if they keep all three on the roster.
Right.
Because imagine trying to account for Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, one running back, and OJ Howard. Good luck. I
Yeah.
mean, who do you let go at that point? Because you don't know if they're going to run or if they're going to pass. Because they have two massive run blockers and four massive pass catchers at
Yeah.
that point. It's just absurd.
Or you can have your front five with OJ Howard, Gronk, and OJ Howard down with their hands in the dirt and just run an old school style offense where you just run the ball down their throat. Go get a big guy like Jonathan Taylor. He'll hurt you. And you have three tight ends right there to help block for him who can get downfield quickly. That's crazy. What the possibilities for them are endless, and I'm so excited to see what they're gonna do with all of these weapons. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I am too. Honestly, I think the Bucks. This is the thing, right? They are set up for success, and anything short of a Super Bowl is complete failure at this point. So they've kind of set the bar high for themselves to a point where they have to perform.
yeah, yeah, but I feel Bruce Arians, he's a great coach. He's been around a long time. What he did with the Colts, stepping up for Chuck Pagano when he was out right away. They were in the playoffs. They were, I believe, they made it to the AFC Championship game that season, or pretty close. And then he went to Arizona, had success there, and then now he's already had been down there a year. He's retained a lot of the same players, so they're in that system for a year. Then you have Todd Bowles, who's also been there for a year. Great defensive mind, had so much success in Arizona. He's a former head coach himself, so he's another great coach who's going to do his job. They all are great at what they do, and I think if everybody is able to perform at their best, and I think they will with the amount of talent they have, there should be no issues. They've already said they're not bringing back AB because they don't want that headache. They don't seem to have any other players that are drama queens that are gonna be all about themselves. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they're pretty quiet guys. They don't really speak out that much, if at all.
Could
And
make a play for Julian Edelman. Really bring the cast back together.
well, that's what I was mentioning before. If anybody's gonna go trade for Edelman, it's gonna be the Buccaneers. Tom's gonna be like, I want my guy. We're making a playoff push. I want my guy.
Yeah.
And that's the only place that Edelman would probably be okay with going to.
I talked about this earlier, off camera, but I think another possibility for Edelman, if he not that we think he's going to get moved, but if he does, San Francisco. I mean, they're trying to move on from some key players, and they want to gain some veteran leadership. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo had a really good rapport with him. That might be somebody that they target. He's a hometown guy. He'd be very close to his family. If he can't play for Bill Belichick and he can't play with Tom Brady, I think the only other move for him at that point would be San Francisco, the team that he grew up rooting for, and he was close by to most of his life.
Yeah, I mean that would kind of replace Emmanuel Sanders and what he did over there. Different styles of play, but they both have solid hands, able to run in the middle of the field and create separation that way. So that would make a lot of sense. There maybe there are more than just the Bucks that are willing to trade for Edelman, or teams that he'd be willing to go to.
Yeah.
But this whole situation just got a lot more interesting, especially with the draft. Right
And
here.
yeah, like it's Tuesday, right? And the draft starts on
Exactly.
Thursday. Things are about to get wild. I think this is going to be one of the craziest drafts that we've seen in a while. Teams trying to move up, teams trying to move back, players gonna get moved, and we're all doing it, remotely.
Remotely,
So it's
yeah.
going to cause a lot of issues trying to get picks in on time, trying to get trades processed and done on time. Roger Goodell's got a lot on his hands. Um, hey, he gets paid the big bucks for a reason, so this is a thing he's going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean that's why they were doing their mock draft, their practice draft yesterday, trying to work out the kinks of bandwidth, trying to make sure everybody's able to connect, going through the process.
You heard that they had issues with the first pick,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like,
oh yeah,
like first
yeah,
pick,
right off the bat.
just like, and then can't make the pick. It's like I think he said Joe Burrow.
Yeah, no. I
Like
think he said Justin Herbert, number one overall. um,
Jordan Love, first overall.
hey, who knows, man? I think it was Ian Rappaport who said a lot of GMs are saying what people are predicting in their mock drafts is completely false. So who knows what's gonna happen if everybody's that off about it? Anything can happen. We've seen it before. I mean, last year Cleveland Farrell going 4 overall when he was supposed to go in the 20s or teens.
Yeah.
Who knows what crazy picks people are gonna pick.
One of the things that's kind of being talked about right now, though, is the possibility that Justin Herbert gets taken over Tua.
Yeah.
Um, I, I mean, it's kind of crazy to me because Tua, like the whole thing was tank for Tua. You know, the start of last season, everybody was like Tua is the number one pick, and then Joe Burrow came onto the scene and did what he did at LSU, and obviously like that's great. But Tua like he got hurt, and he can come back. He's shown that he's able to come back. He's had the doctors come out and say he's going to be just fine. I
Well,
think that
I think a lot of the issues that people are keep bringing up are that knee and how he might re-injure it,
the hip.
because the hip. I'm sorry, the hip. Yeah. Who's the former Ravens tight end? Dennis Pitta,
Yeah,
who suffered the same injury. It happened to him, I
three
think,
times.
three
It
times.
happened
Yeah.
to him 3 times.
So
But
it's kind of like,
he,
yeah, it's like any other dislocation. If you dislocate something once, you're more prone to dislocate it again.
yeah, but the other problem is that Dennis Pitta was taking massive hits in the middle of the field as a tight end. Tua Tagovailoa is a mobile quarterback who is very smart and knows how to throw the football away instead of taking a sack.
Right, but all it takes
Obviously,
is
he's gonna get hit, but at the same time, like like if you don't want to get hurt, if you want like there is a risk reward, right? Tua is going to play very well for a team. Are you willing to take the risk that he may get injured again? I think most teams right now they should take him over Justin Herbert.
is he, I think Tua's a better thrower of the football than Justin Herbert, but I think they both have enough physical attributes in the run game to be pretty similar. I think, and I think Tua's probably a little bit smarter, but if you're talking about durability, Justin Herbert doesn't offer those same issues. He's somebody you can rely on. He's somebody that you can trust. And I think at the end of the day, if you're thinking, this is week 16, week 17, even week 18, if we add another, game to the regular season, you know, is my quarterback going to be there? Is he going to be healthy? Am I going to get 100% out of him? Where's his mind at? We haven't seen we saw him in the last couple games of the season last year with Alabama. Uh, when I think came back for the bowl game, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but we don't really understand where his mind is at after the injury. Like Sony Michel, when he came back after a torn ACL, his second torn ACL. And last year his mindset was completely all over the place. He was scared to run and hit holes. He wasn't the same player. He wasn't producing the same way he did before the injury. And so I think if you look at it in Tua's aspect, he's possibly not going to be the same player. He might be worried that someone's coming from behind or going to hit him low and might throw an errant pass that's going to go for an interception. I know he's working with Jordan Palmer right now, and Jordan is going to talk highly about everybody, but it seems that he's doing fine. You don't know where they're going to be at until they're on the field, until they're in that situation, what it's going to be like. And I think at what point is the pick too high that you have to go with the safer pick?
My concern is that Herbert isn't the safer pick, right? Maybe physically, right, as you just laid out for us, but I think talent wise, they're like you're getting uh somebody who struggles throwing the football at the quarterback level. Like people don't understand that like Justin Herbert is more known for his mobility and his ability to escape the pocket and like kind of make secondary type plays. But when he has a clean pocket, he struggles hitting open targets and like hitting somebody down the sideline and closing windows for receivers. He really struggles putting the ball on point. He tries to aim the ball, and if you go back to our mock draft and what we both wrote on the website about our mock drafts, you'll see that there's a lot of issues that Justin Herbert brings to the table when it comes to throwing the football, and that's not somebody I'm willing to take at the beginning of the draft. I'd rather go with somebody who may or may not ever get hurt again. Like there's a very good chance that Tua never dislocates his hip again and he's perfectly fine his entire career. I mean, again, with football, you're either going to say that the risk reward is good enough that you're gonna take the better thrower of the football, or if you're going to take the safer pick who is more of a project.
Yeah. Justin Herbert, I think he's working with Jordan Palmer. He's another one of those guys. He's gonna work with quarterbacks coach. He's going to work with an offensive coordinator. I think you can fix those issues throwing in tight spaces and making the right throws. He might even have a veteran quarterback in the room with him going through film that's going to help him and teach him the proper way of handling certain situations. But I think that I believe that Herbert might be the safer choice, and I it's possible that the Miami thinks the same way. We really don't know where their mindset is at right now. They could go either way, but whatever they choose, they're not gonna they're not gonna choose a bad quarterback. They're gonna have a franchise quarterback in either one.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of these teams have done extensive homework and they're privy to information that us as fans are not privy to, like health records and that sort of
Right.
information.
Yeah.
Which is obviously kept secret for a reason. It's a protection of privacy. Um, yeah, I think that I think the teams have a better understanding right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see things kind of play out the way we think that Tua is going to go ahead of Herbert.
Yeah.
I don't see, you know, there's so much hype around Tua, and there has been for a couple years now. Justin Herbert came onto the scene and like he was good, but he wasn't great. And I just
Yeah.
can't imagine that, the best predictor of future is past.
Mm.
And the past has shown us that Herbert is solid and he's a serviceable starter. Tua has the innate ability to really just become a playmaker for your team. And I think if you're going to select a quarterback, if I'm the GM, I'm going to take the guy with the higher upside at that point.
Yeah. I mean, either way, we both feel that Herbert and Tua are two of the best quarterbacks in the draft. They're gonna go top six pretty much. But I want to think about who in the first round do you think is gonna be the biggest draft bust, because there's at least one every year,
Yeah.
and it's with all the talent. This is arguably the best draft ever. The talent we've seen at the collegiate level has shown that we're about to get a huge influx of great talent. But which one do you think is going to be the worst out of the bunch? Which one do you think is going to be that bust?
So, I mean, we've answered this question for people on Twitter already.
Right. Yeah. This is.
Um, I, I want to stick with the same answer. I think Yetur Gross Matos, the defensive end out of Penn State, is honestly, he shows me very uh, concerning traits about his play. I just feel like he relies so much on his raw ability to overpower somebody and utilize like his natural strength that he doesn't have any technique whatsoever. I mean, for somebody like that, that's somebody you find in the middle of the draft, and they're talking about him as a first round pick. I could understand a fourth or a fifth round pick being spent on somebody like that, not in the first round. I just can't imagine somebody like that being taken and being trusted to be your premier pass rusher for your defense. I just it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and I think that there needs to be um a lot of time spent with Gross Matos for him to live up to the potential that he has. And we both had the same pro comparison on our mock drafts about him
Mhm.
being Ezekiel Ansah, and we saw it. I mean, Ezekiel Ansah had some really good years in Detroit, and then ever since he's fallen off, and I he's just kind of floating around out there right now. He needs a lot of help, and he never got it. And I think if Gross Matos goes to a team that is just going to rely on him to output numbers, he's going to falter. If they're willing to take him in the first round and use him as a project and develop him, then he's going to flourish. But if you're taken in the first round, it's highly doubtful that you're going to, you know, be a project player, and they're gonna just rely on you to actually get the job done.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we both agree that Yeturgos Matos is probably going to be one of those guys that doesn't live up to the hype. He's not going to be worth a first round pick when we look back on this. But someone else that I know you love a lot, and I am very skeptical of, who I think could be a bust, is Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson, to me, when I watch his college tape,
Right in the heart. Right in the
when
heart.
I watch Justin Jefferson, he lacks separation. He has good hands, but I don't know if he'll be able to handle himself in double coverage, running over the middle, because that's what's the position he'll be in. I compare him to Emmanuel Sanders. I think they're very similar, but I don't know if he is Emmanuel Sanders. I don't know if he'll be able to do that, and if he takes, I don't know how he'll be able to handle NFL hits over the middle of the fields, like Emmanuel Sanders, Julian Edelman, these types of guys. If he'll be able to consistently hold on to his passes. It seems like he'll go somewhere to like Philly or Denver, somewhere like that. But if he's going to those places, those are cold weather places. He's got to. This isn't Louisiana anymore. He's got to be able to handle the environment, handle the big hits, handle everything that's thrown at him. It's just, I don't know if he's ready to take that next step. If everything that he showed at the collegiate level is going to translate, it's still I think kind of raw. I don't see him as high as people put him, just because he had, I believe, 117 catches last season. I don't see that translating to the NFL. I don't think that he'll have that production, especially since he won't, wherever he goes, he's not going to be a number one wide receiver. If he goes to Philly, he's behind Alshon and Deshaun. If he goes to Denver, he's behind Cortland Sutton.
But he doesn't. That's the thing. So I don't think he needs to be a number one receiver. I think, and he wasn't at LSU either.
But
he
can he
Jamar
thrive
Chase
in the slot?
Was the number one.
Can he thrive in the slot?
Yeah, I believe he can, and the tape has shown that he can. Like that's his favorite spot to be in, is the slot. I think he doesn't mind going over the middle. He has the speed to get away from safeties, and he has the footwork to get away from corners. He can take the big hits. He has been very durable throughout his entire career. I don't understand how there can be a question about his durability when he's never even given you a cause for concern at that point. He hasn't missed games. He was a 3-year starter for LSU, a huge school in college sports. I think
I'm not questioning his durability. I'm just questioning whether his game at the collegiate level is going to translate, because he was surrounded by how many players that are going to go in the first round at LSU.
That, but you're talking about NFL caliber players. That's what he was surrounded by. NFL caliber players.
Right, but
if he's in the NFL, I think he's going to thrive even more.
But what do you think?
Again, the best predictor for what you're going to do is what you've already done, and he has shown us that he can get it done. That's why I'm saying I don't understand where the questions come from, because to me, he looks like somebody who can go out there and just fly. He's not going to be a number one receiver. He doesn't need to be a number one receiver. Don't try to be something you're not. He is not Jerry Jeudy. He is not CeeDee Lamb. That's why he's not at the top of the draft. I can't see that, he can't be a productive receiver getting 80 to 100 catches and being the underneath to mid-range guy for any offense that he's a part of.
I don't think the way I've seen his play, what I was alluding to before is he was surrounded by NFL talent on that LSU offense, which meant the defense, which were not, the best, were still keeping up with him and had to handle everybody else on that offense as well. So if he's not going up against the best players in college football and they're keeping up with him, what can people at the NFL level do? They're going to smother him. So how's he going to handle the ball?
I disagree.
How's he going to handle tight catches like that in double coverage, especially over the middle where you have fast linebackers humming down at you, is he going to be able to take these hits and hold on? Is he going to be able to, go up there and get it, or put himself in these situations that he wasn't used to at LSU?
Yeah,
I just don't
because
think that it's gonna translate.
I don't see the same thing that you're seeing. I see a lot more potential. I see his ability to truly be a game breaker for a team. Um, like he what he provides is stability in the middle of the field and a constant resource for a quarterback to throw to when he needs to get rid of the ball quickly. That's what I see Justin Jefferson being, and I just don't see any lack of production in the NFL. I think because you talk about, some of these players, well, they didn't, like Alabama faced some really crappy teams and Jerry Jeudy did really well against them. Should we take those numbers out of his evaluation and
But
then
Justin Jefferson doesn't have that route running. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that ability to climb the ladder and go up and get catches. He doesn't have that ability to get separation. He hasn't shown that.
but he's not going deep. He's the short to medium route runner. That's the thing. He needs to beat one guy and he can easily do that. And if not, an offensive coordinator can easily get that done. It depends on the guy. There are some great slot corners out there that he might struggle with, but most slot receivers do struggle with. I mean, you're talking about a player that showed that he had over 100 catches, over 1,000 yards. He worked great in an NFL ready system with NFL caliber players. To me, that just spells a great player. And now we're talking about a wide receiver. I think that's the most translatable position that you can go from because it's the same thing over and over again. You run the same routes. You stop on a dime. His routes aren't curved. He can easily plant his foot in the ground and change direction. A lot of if you watched his tape, a lot of his separation came from his cuts. The ability to get away from defenders was because he was able to basically stop on a dime, plant his foot in the ground, and then just completely change direction.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we're really gonna have to see, and this isn't really something we're gonna be able to tell for another 3 years until we actually have some tape and we're gonna be able to go back and truly see. But you think Yetur Gross-Matos is going to be biggest draft bust. I think it's going to be Justin Jefferson. Now, on the flip side, who do you think is the best draft value in the first round? There's a lot of guys. You can say Chase Young is the best player available, but he is not going to go first overall. Isaiah Simmons, an elite athlete who can play pretty much any defensive positions, going somewhere in the top 10. Who do you think is the best draft value?
It's tough, right? Because obviously they haven't made picks. I think the biggest value actually comes from the linebacker position. I think it's Patrick Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Another LSU star. You talk about defensive starter for 3 years. He was the captain of the defense, play caller, everything you look for in a middle linebacker. He was that guy. Patrick Queen, he's projected to go somewhere in the either late teens to early to mid 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, and not that I agree with this, but some people have him out of the first round, which is
That's
absurd.
ridiculous. That's just ridiculous.
I just can't imagine, like, you look at some of the best defensive teams that you've seen over the last 20 years. Brian Urlacher in Chicago, Ray Lewis in Baltimore, Ryan Shazier in Pittsburgh. Um, you name the defense, they've had at least one middle linebacker that they were able to rely on consistently. The Patriots have Dante Hightower. Luke Kuechly was that for the Panthers. I can keep going. There's always that one guy. I think Patrick Queen is that guy. Maybe not at the same skill level. He's going to have to develop a little more, but he has the strength and the leadership abilities to truly become like one of those staple defenders for a franchise for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah. You know, I think one of the players that a lot of people are overlooking because of his bad combine, somebody who excelled in college and went practice against one of the best tackles in the league. That's going to be in the league. AJ Epinesa. He's a guy that he's fallen off a lot of people's first round mock drafts. He's a guy that kind of see in the top 40 now. But who was originally a top between 10 and 5 between 10 and 20 pick. This man was a sack machine at Iowa. He was bull rushing every tackle he faced. He was getting around him. His five technique is absolutely crazy. He knows how to use his body and his positioning. He's a 6'5", 275 guy. I think he's gonna have a consistent 5+ sacks a season, which doesn't really seem like it's that great, but to be able to do that at the NFL level is that's what people get paid to do. That's what's highly regarded in this league as an edge rusher. But at such a big body, he's still able to move. I don't think that looking at a 40 time for him is truly gauging what his game speed is.
This is why I hate the combine, right? And I've said this before. I hate the combine because you're taking measurables from people that are wearing fucking spandex, okay? You're taking like, who can run a straight line, no pads, no worry that somebody else is going to come from the side and try to hit them, right? Who can run the fastest? That's not football. That's simply not football. That's just a race. That's a backyard race. Um, I understand that it's cool to take all the metrics and all the numbers and compile them and create a fantastic player. And look, it helped Isaiah Simmons really skyrocket his value. He was a mid-teens pick before the combine, and then now we're talking about him as possibly the third or fourth pick in the draft. I mean, it can help people. I understand that, but that's why I'm skeptical of it, because you took a player that you took his game film and you evaluated him and you said this is probably where he should be, right? This is what he looks like he should be drafted at. And then all of a sudden he gets in his cutoff shirt and underwear, runs a fast 40, and we're like, we're taking him at the top of the draft. That's it. Throw everything else out because I don't care. He can run fast.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking great. So can Deshaun Jackson. And guess what? He's been hurt a ton. He was a great receiver for a little bit, but he's struggled. He's been on 4 different teams. So when you're talking about, how many reps they can do on the was it the 225-pound bench,
Yep.
or the standing long jump, or honestly, I don't give a shit what offensive tackles can standing long jump.
Yeah, I mean,
when do they ever do that?
I think it was Warren Sapp who had less than 20 reps on the bench, but was one of the fiercest defensive tackles to ever play the game of football. He obliterated guards and centers all game long, every game, and got to the quarterback. Those don't matter. What you do on the field, what shows up on game tape is truly what matters. And I think this is one instance where the game tape shows a lot more and is truer to what you're going to see at the NFL level than what you see at the combine. And the AJ Epinesa is a guy that's gonna get to the quarterback consistently. He's gonna be one of those guys that, I know Chris Sims like to say F the play up. He creates a lot of pressure on the quarterback, which just makes him throw those errant passes and makes him go to a read that he doesn't want to, or do something that he shouldn't be doing. AJ Epinesa is gonna be that guy, and if he falls to the back end of the first round, or even early second round, that's a steal. If you can get a guy that's consistently getting you sacks every season, creating pressure consistently, and you're getting that at the 30, 40, 40th pick, that's crazy. And I think that will pay dividends. That will be your best bang for your buck when we look back on this.
Yeah, I mean, and the same thing goes with Patrick Queen, right? The game tape shows he had sideline to sideline speed. He wasn't the fastest 40-yard dash runner at the combine, but he had the game speed to be able to keep up with any running back and any tight end that he was faced off with. He was able to hit holes with consistent pressure anytime in the running game. He was always there to blow up the spot. He took on blocks and did it without, a question, right? He didn't always make the tackle, but sometimes it was more about, blowing up the spot of the guard who was pulling, or the fullback who was being used to run ahead. I mean, if you can do that, if you can take somebody and have them eat up blocks and not complain that they're not getting their numbers, that to me is somebody that's more valuable than somebody that can run a 4-3 at the linebacker position. Because what are you gonna do? Like, get run over by a tight end? What happens when Gronk is running at you? I don't think your speed really matters unless you're gonna try to run away from him. At that point,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you have to be able to do your job.
mhm. Yeah, I think when it comes to a guy like Patrick Queen, the biggest knock on him is his size. He's 6 feet, about 220 pounds, small for a linebacker. But then that's kind of what new age linebackers are. If you look at Deion Jones, you look at the other linebackers coming to the league. They're speedy guys who play in a smaller form factor, but can make great plays on the ball consistently. That's why they're able, because of their smaller size and lighter weight, they're able to go sideline to sideline. They're able to have longer careers because they're not as robust. They're not as putting as much wear on their bodies. They're able to make athletic plays in the air, disrupting balls over the middle of the field, and they're able to bite down on runs quickly because they have that a bit because of their physical traits. So you can't really knock a player anymore for having a small size, because if they have the mental ability to react and put themselves in the right position, size has no impact at that point. And I
Right.
think a guy like Patrick Queen is definitely going to be a big linebacker in this league. He'll be a big name, just like Deion Jones is. And he's a guy that has stayed healthy throughout his collegiate career at LSU. So you don't have to worry about issues like that that we do see with Deion Jones, unfortunately. So if you can get a guy that plays like Deion Jones and is healthy more than Deion Jones, that's awesome. And that's something that you can't ask more of at the NFL level.
Not at all. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and obviously we're the Tuesday before the draft. I want to remind everyone that we're going to be doing a draft companion. I think this is a good time to talk about that real quick. Um, we don't have the rights to show the draft, so obviously we can't put that on the screen. But if you don't have cable and you can't see it, just watch us. We're here to help you guys out as much as we can. We're gonna announce the picks as they're made. We're gonna provide analysis. We're gonna give reactions. You're gonna get raw reactions. It's not edited. It's gonna be live. We're gonna do at least Thursday and Friday. Saturday is to be determined. It's looking like we probably won't, but you can check either our Twitter.
And we'll probably
But we're
let you
gonna
know on
try.
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. But we're going to be here throughout at least the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. With everything that's going on, with it being remote, it's going to provide a lot of fun and excitement. Um, I would not miss out. In all honesty, it's going to be a phenomenal time. Just sit back, relax, and we want to see you guys in chat. We want to talk with you guys, and we want to see what your reactions are, and whether your team chose the guy you wanted. If you think that they should have chosen somebody else, um, let us know. We're gonna be here. I think the first round is usually about 3 hours, so strap in because we're gonna be here the entire time. So
Yeah.
it'll be a great time.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun. And for anybody just listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you're listening to your podcasts, we are on YouTube at Trash Talk Sports Media. So just look for us, search for us, and we'll be live, ready to go around 7:30, right before the draft starts, and then again at I believe 4 o'clock on Friday for the start of rounds 2 and 3. So we're excited, and we hope you're excited. So let's continue this. So I think that's enough, pre-draft analysis and going back into the draft. But one thing that's been happening over the last couple weeks is many teams, or I can't say many teams, 6 teams have come out with new jersey designs or alterations they've made to their jerseys. And today we had the Chargers, which are arguably the best jerseys in the league. But I just want to get your take. Wait, what do you think? Who has the best jerseys in the league right now?
Whew, that is
I
a
mean, in my
loaded
in
question.
my
Are you
in
talking about out of the six,
no, well,
or
no,
just,
no. I'm opening this
or
up.
in general?
I'm opening this up to all 32 teams, but I really don't think that it goes too much further than the Buccaneers and the Chargers because these last 2 jerseys, they're modern, they're sleek, they look great. I don't think there's really anybody else in the league that tops them.
See, so I'm a sucker because I love the Baltimore Ravens jerseys, the all black on black with the purple numbers. That has been my favorite style for since I can remember. Honestly, that was one of like the first jerseys I ever wanted was a Ray Lewis black jersey so I could wear with my black sweatpants. Just because to me, like, that is when you see that, that just instills fear in your enemy. Like, they see you as just this demonic figure standing across from them, and they're in their bright colored uniform, like, it's all polished, and you're like, I don't give a damn. So
Yeah.
I honestly, to me, I love Baltimore's uniforms. I don't know if there's going to be someone right now that beats them, but obviously the Chargers, the best new uniforms. Um, they have so many variations that they can really just do whatever they wanted. Their helmets are, easy to they're easily malleable and they can be manipulated to fit the scheme of their their jerseys. But I love the powder blues, and I love the all um I guess it's not royal, but it's like a very dark blue.
The
On
Navy.
the graphic that we had tweeted out, it's the one all the way to the right, the
Yeah.
last picture.
Yeah.
That is because it's just like an outline of the bolt with the same color like all the way through. It's really cool. It's a really cool design. Um,
And I'm actually really surprised they went with that because that's the color they removed from their logo when they redesigned it a couple weeks ago.
right.
They removed that dark navy blue, and they
And
stuck with their powdered blue and their yellow. And so for them to bring that back in a different way is really cool. And like you said, the way they're able to remove the emblems from their helmets and make them match the rest of the uniform is awesome because that just puts the whole thing together. It makes it a solid uniform, solid unit, and you add. I know a lot of Chargers players wear visors, and you put a chromed out visor on that's gonna look really really good.
now all we need is Mr. Goodell. I'm talking to you. Bring back custom face masks for
Yeah,
helmets.
yeah.
Ray Lewis's face mask, again, not to bring it back to Ray Lewis, but that face mask, the most iconic face mask that you could find. I think Calais Campbell was another one that had one of those. I mean, they were just absolutely absurd, and I think it brought so much. Like, you look at the NBA and they can wear whatever sneakers they want, and they can wear all different sorts of like armbands and headbands and kind of stuff. uh, the NFL, like, they've become a little more lax over the last year or two. They need to continue to allow, as long as it meets safety guidelines, right? I'm all for safety first. If it meets the safety guidelines, there's no reason that you shouldn't allow, you know, uh, the custom face mask, because a lot of times it may be even more safer and you're getting a really cool design on top of it. I think you would see a lot of players getting really creative with how things look, and I understand that you want to provide like you know a, a stagnant look across the board. Supposed to be a uniform. Everybody's in the same uniform. Um, but we're in an era now where people are more freely expressive about the way they dress, the way they act, the way they play, and I think that having something like a custom face mask would be really awesome to add to some of these. But just to quickly jump back to the Chargers, when I think of those powder blues, Nick, what I really think of is LaDainian Tomlinson with his black visor,
Hmm.
just running down the field in a powder blue jersey. That's what I think of. LaDainian Tomlinson, one of my favorite running backs of my time, truly truly showed like what those powder blues can really look like. It was very nice.
Yeah, no, they were great. Now,
Sean Merriman too, by the way.
yeah, they all rocked him. And then I mean, even with in the early 2000s, those dark navy uniforms when Rodney Harrison was there,
Mhm.
wearing that with they had the white pants then. Now you add dark navy pants to them, they just look even better.
Yeah,
Um,
they're super nice.
so like I mentioned earlier, I think in my books the Buccaneers and the Chargers are the two best jerseys. I love those pewter Buccaneers jerseys. Those are awesome. I think they're fierce. They're modern. They look great. We've already seen them on the players. They look solid. And I having Tom Brady in them, Gronk in them now, Indomitian Sue, Mike Evans, like all those studs are gonna be dressed in those colors. And when they're not wearing that, I know that's an alternate, but you still have that dark, that deep red, that's their primary home jersey. That's gonna be great, and they have the pewter pants to go with it. I love when teams are wearing multiple colors, like just solid colors throughout the uniform, not just white pants consistently. That kind of
Right.
makes it bland and boring, and now they've kind of revitalized that. And with the Chargers, they have three different pairs of pants. They have white, they have dark navy, they have yellow, and they have the powder blue. So they have four pants with four different types of jerseys, and the color with inside the bolts changes per jersey. They have an all white one with where the bolt is white and yellow with it's really sleek. I love the way the whole uniform is just put together. And one thing I want to touch upon is the Chargers did something that no other team has done. They put the players' numbers on the side of the helmet, which is really interesting concept. It's not something I'm, you know, that big on, but I think it's some.
Alabama does that. Like you don't see that in the pros, you know?
No, no, but that's I'm not. I'm still trying to figure out where they who designed their jerseys. But there is a local street graffiti artist that is really known in the LA area. His name is Jonas Never, and he was featured on the Chargers Twitter page earlier today, who put mock-ups, who was making mock-ups of the jerseys. So I wonder if he's the one who put them together. Having that guy who's in tune with what's going on in LA and in that culture knows exactly what to bring to a jersey. Somebody who has artwork all around the city knows exactly what players are looking for, because he understands the modern culture. He understands the LA culture. He's able to bring all those aspects together, and he's an artist. He's not just part of a design team, someone straight out of a college who took a couple classes. This is somebody who has been doing it their entire life and has that passion. So someone like that putting together your jerseys is the perfect person to do it. I'd rather someone do it, and I think that's why the Chargers, in my opinion, have the best jerseys in the league. I think that's why they're obliterating teams like the Browns and the Falcons and the Patriots and now the Rams whenever they come out. Who cares anymore? The Chargers have the best jerseys in my opinion. Where those all they're all color rush navy blue, the powder blue, the dark navy blue. They have the all whites. They're whatever they wear, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to see those on the field. I think that's gonna look just awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think some teams really missed the mark with their jerseys as well.
Yeah.
Looking at you, New England.
Yeah, honestly, New England has
Right,
terrible
right,
jerseys,
right,
and the Colts,
right there.
and the Colts. That
Yeah.
the
Well,
Colts were
the Colts
ugly.
just that was a big old swing and a miss.
Oh yeah,
It was rough. but the Patriots also, like, obviously we're both Pats fans. Um, whew, that is not a jersey I plan on buying anytime soon. Maybe the color rush jersey, just because that's like the most, that makes sense. But like the helmet combination and the colors, why stick with the silver helmet when you got rid of silver everywhere else? Eh, just Robert Kraft, just please, please redo it. Just be like, haha, it was a joke. Just
I,
kidding.
hopefully with all the, I know the backlash with the Rams didn't work. They were pleading with the team to change it, and they said no, that for the logo. There's a lot of backlash with the Patriots right now, and I hope Robert Kraft, he's usually good at listening to his fans, to the fans of the Patriots, and hopefully he'll
Listen,
take their advice and make a couple more tweaks for next year. Get rid of the gray helmet, go to a white helmet, put the flying Elvis on there. We don't need Pat the Patriot
no,
necessarily.
bring back Pat the Patriot. Bring him
I
back.
I like the flying Elvis. Um, but either way, there's some small tweaks that could make the Patriots jersey a lot better. Even the Colts jersey, you're not gonna really see too much of it. It's not really a jersey change, but that C logo that they have on their secondary jerseys is
With the
absolutely
state of
abysmal.
Indiana in the middle of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, they stole that design from somebody else from a high school team. A high school team
Is that what they did?
they have the C with the Indiana inside of it, and the guy was like, "Hey, you stole my design."
Okay, this message is for Jim Irsay.
And
Please don't steal. Thank you.
I'm
You
no.
have the money. Pay somebody. You're a billionaire. Go pay somebody to design a logo. There's probably a bunch of fan artists that have given you free designs on Twitter that you can go sort through. Um, Robert Kraft, Jim Irsay, you guys need to get together. Obviously, Dean Spanos knows what he's doing with the Chargers. It's time to get on a phone call with him and figure out, how to fix this, because those are some of the worst jerseys I've seen in a long time. And it sucks to say, but it feels like, as a Pats fan, we're just getting bludgeoned left and right. It's like Brady's gone, Gronk just got traded. Oh, you got shit jerseys. Congratulations. It's
Yeah.
like, can you buy me dinner first? Like, it's just, honestly,
It'll yeah, help soften
there's
that
so
blow.
much that I feel like we're missing out on it, and I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
tough.
we just got great jerseys from the Chargers. Um, there's a lot of hype over what's going on with Tua and Justin Herbert and where they might go. So there's a lot to look forward to. We've only got 2 more days, thank God, until the draft starts. It's about time we finally have some sports back in our life. This isn't a boring horse competition that no one could care about. So you know, let's all just suffer through the next 48 hours, and we'll see you back here on Thursday night. We can't wait for it. We're extremely excited to host this draft companion, if you will. So we look forward to seeing you here on our YouTube channel. If you're listening to us, make sure you tune in. We'll make it a lot more exciting than those boring commentators, just going through game tape and listing off some accolades. We'll have a lot more fun over here, and
Will be a
you
little
know
more exciting than Mel Kiper too, just so we're clear.
yeah, we're not gonna sit there in a suit and tie and
That's
have
not
a
how
stern
sports were
face.
meant. Sports weren't meant to be set and make up a suit and a tie, and I think he's going to be great because he ran a great 40. Back to you,
Exactly.
Joe. That's not
Exactly.
how we do it around at Trash Talk, and we're excited to do this for you guys. Um, yeah, we'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you then.
Take care.